Now see the esophagus structure, my dear. Immediately the esophagus has passed through the esophageal hiatus in the diaphragm. It curves upward before opening into the stomach. Before entering into the stomach, it curves upward. So this sharp angle is as well as the sphincter at end. So this sharp end is called as, my dear, sphincter. This sphincter is also called as cardiac sphincter, which prevents the sphincter is nothing but the constriction ring, which prevents the food regurgitation. Once you have food, so this food should not come outside. For that one, this cardiac sphincter is helping out by holding back the food stomach content, or otherwise the esophageal content. Otherwise, there is a, if in this case the cardiac sphincter is not working properly, your eaten food will come out. Sometimes when we take some of the medications, for example antibiotic, there is a chances of vomiting because these medications causes the relaxation of the cardiac sphincter. Thus it leads to the vomiting, nausea, such feelings. Okay. And here you can see the cardiac sphincter above the stomach in the fundal region, which prevents the food backflow by constriction. And here the layers of the esophagus, mainly 4 layers are there. The innermost layer is the mucosa, the folded one is the mucosa. Okay, below that one the submucosa is present, and below that one the muscularis propria is present, and the last layer is the adventitia. Mucosa, submucosa, muscularis and adventitia. This is the anterior view of the stomach and the parts which are there in the anterior portion of the stomach. Location of the stomach. It is the enlarged hollow part of the digestive tract specialized in the accumulation of digestion of food. So what the specialization of the digestive stomach? The stomach importance is to accumulate the food, to store the food, and to take part in the digestion of the food, and or otherwise blending of the food. It is located between the esophagus and the small intestine. Between the esophagus and the small intestine, that stomach, the pouch like structure lies, and it is located in the epigastric the above the umbilical region is the epigastric region. In this region the stomach lies. If you see the parts of the stomach, there are mainly 4 parts you can see: cardiac, fundus, body and pylorus. The cardiac part I have shown you. The cardiac sphincter part is the cardiac part. The fundus, the above you can see the curve like structure is called as the fundus, and body, in between the pylorus and the fundus the body lies. Pylorus is the last part of the stomach. The stomach is continuous with the esophagus. After esophagus, a pouch like structure is called as the stomach at the cardiac sphincter, and with the duodenum at the pyloric sphincter, and it connects to the duodenum at the pyloric sphincter. Here you have to remember 2 sphincters, my dears. One is cardiac sphincter, which is connecting the esophagus and stomach. Second one is the pyloric sphincter, which is connecting the stomach and duodenum. So when the stomach is inactive, that means food is not there, the pyloric sphincter is relaxed and open, and when the stomach contains food, the sphincter is closed. Next one is the small intestine. After stomach, small intestines connects the stomach to the large intestine. The small intestine is the part of the GI between the stomach and the large intestine. The small intestine continues with the stomach at the pyloric sphincter. From the pyloric sphincter, the small intestine starts, and it leads to the large intestines at the ileocecal valve. At the ileocecal valve, it connects to the large intestine. Its length is about 3 to 5 meters in the average length in the adult person. So it lies in the abdominal cavity, and it's surrounded by the large intestines. So in between the large intestines it lays. You can observe from the picture also this thing. So in between the large intestines, the small intestines were wrapped. So here the parts of the small intestine, there are mainly three parts are there: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum is the first part after leaving the stomach. After the stomach ends, the duodenum starts. So it is about 0.25 meters long. Jejunum, this is the middle part between the duodenum and the ileum. It is about 2.5 meters length. Ileum is the joint, this joins the small intestines to the large intestines at the ileocecal junction. It is about 3.5 meters length. So the mesentery is the extra part, my dears. This is the double layer of the peritoneum. The peritoneum is the thin sheet which covers the intestines and holds the intestines to the posterior abdominal wall. From here you can clearly observe the parts of the small intestine. See, after the stomach, duodenum started. After duodenum, in between the small intestines, jejunum, and jejunum after that ileum. See, the small part which is connecting the small intestine and the large intestine, that is the ileum. Next part is the peritoneum, my dears, or you can also call as the mesentery. Here the yellow portion which you can see from the picture is called as the peritoneum. It is a serosal membrane, is a sac like structure which covers the abdominal parts and protects the abdominal parts from the infection, which covers all the abdominal organs. See, it provides the attachment to the organs of the GA and affects the physical barrier to localize the spread of the infection. It prevents the spread of the infection. See, this sac also has a small amount of the serous fluid. That fluid is called as the peritoneal fluid. That fluid is called as the peritoneal fluid. So it lies within the abdominal cavity. It also, see, it protects the stomach contents like stomach, small intestines, liver, pancreas, kidney, spleen and other all pelvic organs. Okay, this is called as the peritoneum. The peritoneum is nothing but the serous membrane which is filled with the small amount of the fluid called as the peritoneal fluid, which is also used for the diagnostic findings. For example, peritoneosynthesis. You can see this one clearly from this picture, the parts here. This is the yellow color. The yellow color portion is called as the peritoneal or peritoneal sac. Next part is the liver or gallbladder. The liver is an accessory digestive gland and the largest internal organ. The liver is the largest internal organ, my dear. Otherwise, the largest outer side organ is the skin. And it involved in the synthesis of glucose from amino acid. From protein, it can synthesize the glucose, sugars, and breakdown of the carbohydrates. It also helps in the breakdown of the carbohydrates by producing certain types of enzymes. And it also helps in the synthesis of cholesterol. Cholesterol is nothing but the lipids, fats, and production of fat, and through lipogenesis. Genesis means production, and production of bile. Even bile, the bile is the which helps in the digestion process. Okay, these all the functions of the liver. And the bile produced is stored in the gallbladder. Whatever the bile is produced, you can see the green, the small dark green color is the gallbladder, where the bile is stored in the gallbladder and the secreted to the small intestines during the food digestion. The gallbladder is a sac-like structure on the inferior surface, the down surface of the liver, that is about 8 centimeters long and 4 centimeters wide. So you can see the parts in detail. See, this is the liver. Liver has 5 lobes, we all know that. And under liver or inferior to the liver, we can see the pouch like structure, 8 centimeters and 4 centimeters wide. This one, gallbladder, which stores the bile which is produced from the liver. Next part is the pancreas. It is a pale grey gland weighing about the 60 grams. It actually situates below the stomach, my dear, stomach pouch below it exactly situates, and its length is about 12 to 15 centimeters. Okay, and it lays in the epigastric region on the left side at the hypochondriac region. It's like tail presents. Okay, it consists of a broad head. It is having the parts like head and body and narrow tail. Head, body and tail. And it secretes pancreatic juice. Which is also called as the exocrine pancreas, and insulin and glucagon. This is called as endocrine pancreas. See, two types of hormones can release this pancreas. One is exocrine juices and another is endocrine juices. Exocrine means pancreatic juices goes directly into the stomach and helps in the food digestion, whereas insulin and glucagon which are helps like a endocrine secretions which helps in breakdown of the glucose and production of the glucose. Here is the picture. You can see the structure of the pancreas clearly, the head, tail and the body of the pancreas, and where it is connected to the duodenum which produces the pancreatic juices into the duodenum directly. Next one is the large intestine. Large intestine which meets the small intestine at the ileocecal wall, then continue to the anal canal. See, it starts from the ileocecal and ends with the anal canal, and it is about 1.5 meter long and 6.5 centimeters wide. So it consists of the cecum, the proximal end. Proximal means the starting end, my dears. The cecum, the small tube connected part, is called as the cecum. And appendix, you all know that the appendix, those who are having the constipation problem, arrives the appendicitis, the inflammation of the appendix called as the appendicitis. And next one, colon. This colon is divided into three parts, that is ascending colon. Upgoing colon is called as ascending colon, and the transverse slide colon is transverse colon, and the downward colon is called as descended colon, and the sigmoid and rectum. Here you can see the large intestines very clearly. This is the clear diagram with ascending, transverse, descending colon, sigmoid and appendix and rectum. Now let us see the functions of the digestion. The digestive system. Ingestion is nothing but taking food into the body. Mastication, chewing. Propulsion, pushing down the food. Mixing up the food. Secreting the enzymes and helping in the digestion. Digestion means breaking down of the food into the microparticles. Absorption of the microparticles into the bloodstream. And elimination is nothing but eliminating the waste, motion or feces out of the body. These are all the main functions of the gastrointestinal tract. And if we divide the functions of the organs, digestive organs, here mouth function is ingestion, taste, mastication, digestion, swallowing, communication and protection. Pharynx, swallowing, breathing, protection. And esophagus, propulsion, protection. And stomach functions are storage, digestion, absorption, mixing and propulsion and protection. Small intestine, neutralization, balancization, that means minerals and this one particles. Digestion, absorption, mixing and propulsion and excretion and protection. Whereas large intestine functions are absorption, storage, mixing and propulsion, protection and excretion.